Bhagavad Gita. Let us first speak and summarize Gandhi's life. Gandhi is known for satyagraha, fighting for human rights based on truth and nonviolence. Gandhi was a lawyer until he became a leader. His first agitation was in South Africa. South Africa had racial segregation based on skin color, which was enforced by the white rulers. Gandhi had fought against racist policies in South Africa non-violently by gathering civilians to peacefully protest. White rulers gave in to pressure mounted by nonviolent agitation and repealed some discriminatory laws. Successful agitation in South Africa turned Gandhi into a leader against discrimination and racism. Gandhi then shifted his focus to India in order to fight against British rule. Many Indian civilians had the urge to fight the British soldiers out of frustration based on the multiple restrictions and racist challenges they had been facing, but Gandhi found ways to influence them to resist the urge and remain nonviolent. His philosophy spread across India as well as the globe. Gandhi led a peaceful and nonviolent freedom movement and eventually led India to become free and independent. Gandhi inspired many leaders to successfully fight against unjust laws nonviolently. As we all know, many leaders across the globe were influenced by Gandhi. Leaders such as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Dr. Nelson Mandela, to name a couple, derived a lot of their inspiration, ideas, and tactics from Gandhi. They successfully led their own civil rights movements in their respective countries based on these learnings. Both leaders had great reverence towards Gandhi and spoke about him many a time. Dr. King read and learned about independence movements led by Gandhi in India. He took keen interest in the tactics and impact of the nonviolence movement, a core method used by Gandhi. However, he started references to Gandhi during the historical Montgomery bus boycott. He referred to Gandhi as, quote, the guiding light of our technique of nonviolent social change, unquote. Dr. King also said that, quote, India is the land where the techniques of nonviolent social change were development that my people have used in Montgomery, Alabama, and elsewhere throughout the American South, unquote. After the success of the bus boycott in 1956, Dr. King wanted to visit India to deepen his understanding of the country as well as Gandhi's philosophies. Dr. King visited India in 1959 for 5 weeks and said to the reporters who came to see him at the airport, to other countries, I may go as a tourist, but to India, I come as a pilgrim. His visit to India covered all corners of the country, starting from Delhi and meeting many satyagrahis. He continued his journey visiting Patna, Bodh Gaya, and Calcutta. In South India, he met many followers of Gandhi who were leading struggles to eradicate untouchability and fight for equality and justice for poor and downtrodden India. One of the most memorable events was when he visited Gandhi's residence in Bombay. He noted in the guest book, quote, to have the opportunity of sleeping in the house where Gandhiji slept is really an experience I will never forget. He also visited Sabarmati Ashram founded by Gandhi, the place where Salt Satyagraha was launched in 1930. He also visited many Harijan villages to understand about the Gandhian concept of be the change you want to see in the world. He witnessed the volunteers cleaning the villages, including toilets, to educate people living there on basic health and hygiene. Dr. King left India convinced that the Gandhian policy of peaceful, nonviolent methods are effective in social change. Let me now talk about Gandhi's influence on Dr. Nelson Mandela. If I must mention one learning of Dr. Mandela from Gandhi, it was the concept of forgive and forget. Mandela was never revengeful towards the ruling elite of South Africa, responsible for the policies of racial discrimination imposed on the people of South Africa, and his own incarceration for 27 long years. After independence, he invited all his tormentors to his swearing-in ceremony and integrated them into the new government. In addition to Dr. King and Dr. Mandela, Gandhi's life and philosophy has influenced and continues to inspire scores of people in India and across the world. If Gandhi was so inspirational during his life and after his death, how did the Bhagavad Gita influence him? Let me start with an interesting episode in the life of Gandhi. When Gandhi arrived in London to study law in 1888, he was struggling with two aspects. The first was his lack of training in speaking English and ways of Englishmen, and the second was not finding vegetarian food in London. After a long search, he found one vegetarian restaurant and spotted a pamphlet titled A Plea for Vegetarianism by Henry Salt from an organization called London Vegetarian Society. He became a member of this society and made friends with many writers such as Henry Salt, Anna Kingsford, and many more. He also met prominent theosophists of the day, such as Helena Petrovna Blavatsky and the Alcott brothers, who would later become his political colleague in the Indian independence movement. Now let me talk about Gandhi's introduction to the Bhagavad Gita. Gandhi's theosophist friends, the two Alcott brothers, were studying the original Sanskrit text of the Gita alongside Edwin Arnold's recent English translation of the Song Celestial. Thinking that Gandhi, being an Indian, would probably know Sanskrit better, they asked him about the meaning of certain Sanskrit words, but he could not help. As Gandhi confessed in his autobiography, quote, "I felt ashamed as I had read the divine poem neither in Sanskrit nor in Gujarati," unquote. I can relate this with my own experience. I heard a few verses of Sanskrit until 2016 because some of the books I read, and mainly Indian movies. I never learned to chant Gita or made a serious effort to understand it. Like everyone else, especially in India, I studied and learned about Gandhi from school and in history classes. However, my interest in Gita is very recent. I started to read and understand Gita for the past few years and continue to learn from many books, commentaries, and other material. While learning Gita, I realized many of the recent and popular concepts such as mindfulness, stress reduction, emotional intelligence, and mental health taught in many Ivy League schools, corporate worlds, and the US Army, and recently even in middle and high schools around the world, have their roots in the mind management topic of Bhagavad Gita. Now let us come back to Gandhi. We all know that there are many books, commentaries, translation works that were written on Gandhi. There were also a few movies produced on him. Interest in the life and work of Gandhi continues all over the world. On the other hand, Gita combines concepts expressed in central texts of Hinduism, such as the Vedas and Upanishads, thus acting as a guiding force for the Sanatana Dharma and the eternal virtuosity. We all know that both Gandhi and Gita influenced and transformed many individuals, leaders, and communities across the world. Again, back to Gandhi. Through this interaction with his friends in London, he got interested and started to read, learn, and understand the Gita. Now let us talk about a few major aspects of Gita which influenced Gandhi. Number 1, Karma Yoga. He understood the importance of action or execution of tasks at hand without worrying about the results. This learning guided him from his student days to agitators in South Africa and India. Number 2, practicability. Gandhi realized that concepts elaborated in Gita can be implemented in daily life by everyone. It is not based on any religion. Understanding of Gita elevates the reader to a higher spiritual level and enables them to observe events with dispassion. Number 3, multiple paths. Gandhi understood the multiple paths offered by Gita, such as Jnana Yoga, knowledge and discrimination between real and transient; Karma Yoga, selfless action for the benefit of all; Bhakti Yoga, self-surrender to God with devotion; and Raja Yoga, path of yoga and meditation. This understanding enabled him to connect with people at different levels of maturity. He definitely used these methods to influence philosophers as well as the uneducated equally. I conclude my speech even more convinced that both Gandhi and Gita are very interesting and important topics to learn about for everyone, as it allowed for Gandhi to learn and grasp certain lessons and spread the same values and philosophy to the world, making his life his message. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Namaste and have a good one.
Thank you, Nandini, for such a beautiful, eloquent presentation.
Thank you so much for your time and the opportunity.
Revelation of the influence of Gita and Mahatma Gandhi.
Yes.
And many people have accepted it as a life guide. So Mahatma Gandhi was the best example. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Please stay on if you can, a few questions. But we are running out of time. There may be, there may not be. But if you stay there, stay for another half an hour.
Sure. Thank you.
The next one will be live presentation. Nishika Dubey. She's going to talk about health and wealth. What she means by wealth is W-E-L-L-T-H, not W-E-A-L-T-H. Let's hear her. Come on over.
You're not presenting now.
Just reading. Presenting. Can you read it? You need light? Light? No? Good morning, everyone, and namaste. My name is Nishika Dubey. I'm a 7th grade student from Hill Middle School. I'm 12 years old and I'm from Naperville, Illinois. I'm very humbled to be invited to the Gandhi Mandela King Conference 2023. And I'm very excited to be here in Pietermaritzburg, as it is a very iconic place in our history. I'm very inspired by the values of Gandhiji, and in 2019, my art was selected for the Consulate General as I made a collage of Mahatma Gandhi. I also made it for my school's program, Reflections, which the theme was Look Within Yourself. At the time, I was in 4th grade and I was learning about Mahatma Gandhi, and he inspired me and I was inspired by his beliefs and values. One of them was health. Health is a real wealth, not pieces of gold and silver. Health is a real wealth and not pieces of gold and silver. These words are of the cherished Mahatma Gandhi. These words carry profound depth, emphasizing the importance of good health over any materialistic wealth. This statement is truer today than ever, as we live in the era where the relentless pursuit of material wealth often leaves no room for personal well-being. Gandhi, throughout his life, practiced and preached simplicity. He believed that life's real joy was living with minimal needs and maximum satisfaction. To him, the gold and silver that humans endlessly chase represent the obsession with materialistic pursuits. Material wealth can create temporary happiness and give us a feeling of satisfaction. However, it may also be detrimental to one's health. In his context, good health was not merely about the absence of disease, but rather encompassed a broader perspective involving physical fitness, mental ability, and emotional well-being. A well-balanced use of these aspects leads to holistic health, enabling individuals to lead a fulfilling life and effectively pursue their goals and ambitions. In today's world, where wealth is often equated with success, Gandhi's words serve as a powerful reminder of what truly matters. We must understand that while material wealth can bring temporary comfort, it is ephemeral and can't guarantee everlasting happiness and satisfaction. In contrast, good health, both physical and mental, allows us to appreciate and enjoy the little things, adding value and contentment to our lives. Furthermore, how can you embody Gandhi's principles? To imbibe Gandhi's wisdom into our lives, it is crucial to look after our health and well-being. We should value simple pleasures, enjoy what we have, and not stress about what we don't. This involves fostering healthy lifestyle choices. Activities such as regular exercise can be very beneficial. Take Gandhi, for example. He walked 79,000 kilometers during the Freedom March. Not that I'm asking you to do the same, but other regular practices such as balanced nutrition and ample rest should be taken into account. It also includes nurturing our minds through practices like meditation, reading, and engaging in creative pursuits. In addition, Gandhi stressed the importance of maintaining personal hygiene and keeping one's surrounding clean. In his own words, sanitation is more important than political independence. This was made clear to me as I had the privilege of visiting the Phoenix settlement, where I learned about how Gandhi made the act of cleanliness a common practice as he advised others to make these principles more routine in their lives. Prioritizing mental health in both children and adults is just as important as maintaining physical health. Reducing stress and promoting positivity and nurturing your emotional and well-being is essential to achieving holistic health. Additionally, strong social connections, love, and support from your family and friends contribute to mental health, as I myself strongly support my peers being on the school student council board. This further emphasizes that wealth is much more than gold and silver. Gandhi's philosophy urges us to redefine our perspective on wealth and success. By embracing the notion that health is real wealth, we can cultivate a society that values overall well-being over and above material gains. It encourages us to be mindful of our health, enjoy the simplicity of life, and ultimately lead more fulfilling and meaningful lives. In the words of Gandhi, true wealth is a wealth of the soul, and we enrich our souls by maintaining our health, nurturing our relationships, and living our lives with contentment and simplicity. This is the way to lead a truly rich life, a life that is the embodiment of real wealth. One of my firm beliefs is that when one's health is lost, not much is lost. When one's character is lost, something is lost. And when one's health is lost, all is lost. Drawing from this wisdom, one can look at South Africa, the country where Gandhi himself developed much of his philosophy. This country has been striving to enhance the health and well-being of their people, understanding the fundamental importance of health as real wealth. Their focus has been increasingly directed towards healthcare reforms, mental health awareness, and fostering a balanced lifestyle. There's like tape. Okay. The people of South Africa's commitment to eradicating health disparities, investing in robust healthcare infrastructure, and promoting mental health is in line with Gandhi's philosophy. This nation's progress and its continuous efforts towards health-focused initiatives reflect Gandhi's vision on prioritizing health over materialistic pursuits. Moreover, South Africans are embodying the spirit of Ubuntu, an African philosophy meaning humanity towards others. This reinforces the concept of mental and emotional health, where community and mutual support are integral to an individual's well-being. South Africa's forward-thinking approach resonates with Gandhi's philosophy, promoting a healthier, happier, and more prosperous society. Its journey is a beacon of hope, illuminating the path towards a future where health is wealth. It's not just a concept, but a way of life. This nation's direction is a beautiful reminder of Gandhi's legacy, and if his spirit himself were to be here today, he'd be extremely proud. The resilience of Gandhi's mind, his unshakable faith, has made him one of the greatest individuals to walk the earth. His sattvic way of living is a guide for many of us to move towards a healthier and prosperous life. Let's take a vow to take control of our health by making small yet meaningful changes to our lifestyle, and not relying on cures as much as prevention. Last but not least, I'd like to end with my mother's favorite quote. The best gift you can give to your loved ones is good health. Thank you.
Thank you, Nishika. I think in 4 minutes, we may lose the electricity for temporarily. So if anyone has any question to her, one question is allowed. Please, anyone wants to ask her a question? Any of you, youngsters? Say something.
I'm Dr. Sipe Potelwa from Nelson Mandela Museum, Deputy Chairperson Council.
Nice to
My
meet you.
question is about the issue of education values from Gandhi. Can you address that?
Can you repeat that?
Education
Education?
values.
Oh,
Yes.
Another session on this on education.
Or,
She can also answer, but we have another session on this.
or
Go ahead.
oh, I'm not fully aware of his education values, as that's not what I researched. However, I know he was a strong supporter of good education and valued education over many other things. As I said, he valued sanitation over political independence. He'd probably say the same about education. He was a very strong supporter and believed that all children should get at least a high school education.
If you're not attending the next session, I would explain that question. He had a thing called, he's against industrialization. He's of the belief of 3H in education. He said head, hand, and heart. Heart means you have to have passion for what you want to do. Head is for involve yourself completely. And hand means it's a low skill jobs. He says many people cannot get educated at higher education because of lack of resources. So everyone should have at least a low skill job, like low-tech jobs. In so doing, everyone will have a job. That's what he called as Nai Talim. Nai means new, Talim means education. So he wanted simplicity in education, not complication. But again, we are almost 150 plus years after Gandhi, and we have evolved a lot in a technical part of the education part. So we have to see how this will go on. Only after 50 years, we'll know the effect of this digital revolution. As of now, we are enjoying it. We don't know the negative aspect of it as yet. Not that I'm predicting, but that's a possibility. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, I just wanted to ask how you think social media has impacted this materialistic sort of society, and obviously then how that impacts on the principles of Gandhi.
That's a very good question. Even before social media, we were always influenced by our environment. And now with social media, people are saying that's detrimental to your health, but it can also be helpful, as it gives us a sense of awareness, and you can use social media to advocate for certain health disparities. I think Gandhi would have both loved and hated social media. I think it's a good way to advocate for, as I said, other health disparities and for what he believes is right. However, like I said, it also influences us. We tend to believe what others think over what our own decisions are, and sometimes that can be the wrong thing, as we believe something that might not be true, as social media isn't always the most honest platform, but yeah.
Just a matter of comment. I would like you to remove from your dictionary the word hate. You said you did not like or did not like.
Dislike.
Not dislike, not like or hate. Okay, I want you to observe that, if you don't mind, from this conference. There are certain words we have to remove from our vocabulary. One is kill, second is hate, second is bullet. PowerPoint presentation is not bullet points anymore. That's what I keep saying. When we talk about Gandhi, they are not bullet points, they are points of importance. That's all I want to convey to you all. Thank you. I don't know if the electricity is not going off, but I feel sad to put the next presentation halfway, but maybe we should go ahead. Okay, 1 second. I'll put the next one. Thank you, Nishika, for your time. The next one is Richika. Can you, Richika, just advise.
It's okay if we peel off the tape.
Electricity may go off.
The tape.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Backman? Oh, sure. We'll get a group picture with the other presentation. There will be more.
Okay.
While she's presenting. Thank you.
Not this one, next stuff. Okay.
You're on. Okay, it's coming 1 second. Okay. Go ahead. There may be a brief
Situation.
They're switching. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Just a few minutes now.
Carry on.
Go ahead and start.
Hi,
Can
can everyone hear me?
Yeah, that's. The chica.
Oh, she's not, I was no one in spatula.
Which one? Which one? Oh, is that? Can you raise the volume?
Yeah, let me just put the button.
Hi,
Huh?
Unmute the mic and pass.
Can you unmute your mic, please?
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Message that, unmute the mic.
I did that. I didn't send you.
It's showing.
Ruchika,
Hi, can you hear me?
please unmute your
Unmute
mic.
yourself. Unmute.
I'm
Yeah,
unmuted.
We're unmuted, Uncle. I don't know.
They say they are
Usually-
unmuted. They say they are unmuted. Just go ahead. Just 1 second, just hold on. Yeah, we can hear now, I guess. It's my phone. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, hi.
Yeah.
So everyone can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm Richika, and today I'm going to be talking about how protecting women's rights will help promote peace and nonviolence in the world. And so this is the Gandhi Mandela King Conference 2023, and when I think of those three leaders, I think of freedom, equality, and peace. And today I'm going to be talking about how those three words connect to women's rights. So, oh, hold on, give me a second. There we go. So today I will be giving a short introduction to myself, talking about why it's important for women to access resources, talking about why education is important for women, and talking about women's rights. So to start introduction, like I said, my name is Richika Vilivalam. I'm 13 years old, and I'm a eighth grade student in the Bay Area, California. The reason I was invited here to speak, which I am very grateful for the invitation, is because over this past school year, I've spent a lot of time learning about women's reproductive rights for my 8th grade year-long project. It started with a 16-page essay on the topic of why abortion needs to be protected and a 30-minute presentation I gave to my class on the same topic. By writing an essay and giving a presentation, I really got to learn so much about my topic and about abortion and women's reproductive rights. And I think that was a really eye-opening experience for me. We also had to have a project that involved our community. And for my project, I planned and hosted 2 fundraiser events for the parents and staff in my school community to raise awareness of my topic and raise money. I was able to raise $1,400 for the organization Planned Parenthood, and I'm very grateful for everyone who was able to help me do that. So that was my project on women's reproductive rights, and I've kind of shifted the topic a little bit to connect it to peace and nonviolence. So the first part of that is how helping women access resources will help promote peace and nonviolence. So when I say resources, that includes healthcare, employment, housing, etc. But today my focus will be on helping women access healthcare. And the bottom line here is when women have better health, they're able to do so many more things. When you have better health, you're setting yourself up for having a job, which leads to secure housing and food security, and which eventually leads to stability. And when we talk about having good health, the reason why that's important and having access to healthcare is important is because when you have access to healthcare, you're able to do everything else. You need to be healthy to have a job. You need to be healthy to do all the normal things that humans need to do. And once you have access to healthcare, you're able to do that, and you're able to have a job and have secure housing and food security. And like I said, that leads to stability, and stability leads to peace. And the reason this is because when you're stable, or you have stability, you have a sense where, sorry, one second. You have a sense where you're able to do everything because you're calm and you have everything you need to be successful. And with that sense of stability comes peace. And that's why when women and everyone in the world are able to access healthcare, it leads us to peace. So the next thing I'm talking about is women's access to education. And I'll start with a quote by Malala Yousafzai. She says, "I speak not for myself, but so those without a voice can be heard. Those who have fought for their right to live in peace, their right to be treated with dignity, their right to equality of opportunity, their right to be educated." So here she talks about opportunity, and people having the equality of opportunity. And I think peace and opportunity go hand in hand. And that starts with education, because when a girl or a woman is able to be educated, she's able to learn something new and she's able to grow. And that leads to empowerment. And what empowerment is the ability to make your own decisions, and decisions that are right for yourself. And because you have learned something new, you have gained this new empowerment and this ability to make decisions. And once you have that ability and once you're empowered, that leads to employment, because now you have this new knowledge and this new sense of decision making, and that enables you to be able to get a job and get employed. And once you're employed, that obviously gets you an income and money. And with that comes so many opportunities, because you're able to do so many things you weren't before. And when Malala talks about education, she says she speaks not for herself, but so those who have fought for their right to live in peace can be heard. And right now there are so many people and so many girls across the world who are unable to access education. And because they're unable to access education, they're not able to be at peace, and they're not able to live their lives in peace. And by helping people access education, you're helping so many more people be at peace, which is why I think it is super important. So the next thing is women's rights. So I'll start here by reading another quote by the United Nations. They say, "Gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls is not just a goal in itself, but a key to sustainable development, economic growth, and peace and security." You can see in the image on the screen that someone's holding up a sign that says, "Women's rights are human rights." And the reason why I very firmly believe this is because when you're supporting and empowering women, you're helping out everybody. Like the quote says, gender equality and the empowerment of women is empowering to women and supporting women, but it's not just that. it's also the fact that when you support women and when you empower women, you're supporting our world as a whole and you're helping our world as a whole. And that's why supporting women is important. It in the United Nations Code, it also says gender equality and the empowerment of women is a key to peace and security. So this whole conference is about peace and nonviolence. And if women aren't being treated fairly, then that's not peace. That's violence. That's not right. So that's why supporting women's rights is important. So, in summary, to achieve peace, women everywhere need to be able to access healthcare, education, and rights, and that's super important. Thank you everyone for having me here, and especially thank you to Dr. Santi for inviting me to this conference. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruchika, for such an eloquent presentation and opening our eyes. I'm an ophthalmologist, so I can see well. So you created a great vision that women provided resources, especially to health, will make them a great human beings and partner with men and others in progressing the society towards betterment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the next presentation is Dr. Dinesh Chahal. He's going to talk about, he's going to tell himself what he's going to talk about.
Thank you. This is the topic for today's talk. And first of all, I salute 3 M's. 3 M's means I'm coming from the land of Mahatma, at the land of Mandela, and with the people of land of, you can say people from land of Martin Luther King, and from other parts of the, you can say, globe. First of all, I greet you with good morning and namaste to all. And now, this is a time how we can take the lessons from Gandhiji in particular. Yes, first is how we can go to the finger to fist approach. We have the, you can say 5 finger, 4 finger and 1 thumb. Thumb is for what? Gandhiji said, care for your near and dear as he done at the both the settlements or the other parts. Second, this is pointing finger. And this finger is used for show the direction to the untrodden or unprivileged. And this is the tallest finger. That means you have to connect with the good people of your community, of your country, or wherever you find the good people. And third is, that is ring finger. This is very weak. So connect to the weak. Or you can say Gandhiji's mantra is last man of the society, talisman mantra. And last finger is, that is little finger, that my welfare is lies with the welfare of the community, welfare of the whole. So this is how we can go with this approach. And this is again another mantra to the youth, because basically I'm talking with the last row or these youth. So be smart. Smart means something different, not from the dress. Smart means first satyagrahi in all your walks of your life and sensitive towards the issues of our society. Maybe somebody is asking about education or how we can do for that. And second M is motivation from the good people. From where you ever can get the motivation, you can get the motivation and do the work. And third, A means love to all, as done by, you can say, Mandela Sahab and Martin Luther King also. And R means be responsible where we are living, maybe with our motherland, maybe with our, you can say, nature or everywhere. And T means be truthful always, Satya, as said by Mahatma Gandhi. And learn from the leaders. I can give the example of 3M, know the way, how they had worked for the community, worked for the people. And second, that doesn't work. If you will not follow that way, go the way. And third, be a leader of the society, show the way to the others. That is the mantra from Gandhiji. And this is 3 I's mantra that is first invented. Gandhiji and Mandela Sahab and Martin Luther King invented many ideas, many philosophy. That was invented, that is okay. But we get the inspiration from that, and ultimately last lies with us. How we can implement those philosophy, those good values in our life or the life for the society. Now it's turned to the implement, that is the message of Gandhiji. Yes, this is very good slide. Sometime we are working for the, you can say, medals approach or to getting the some recognition. But where we can learn, we work for model approach, how to be a model for the society, not for the medals. Second is mind making versus man making, because maximum time in education we are focusing on our mind. So how we can utilize that education or those values for the making of man. And third is noble versus noble approach. Don't work for the Nobel Prize, that may be, but we have to work noble causes. And that is on time. This is on time, TIME. Sorry for that. Now we are living in the age of online, but we have to deliver on time. What is our time? And third is push technology, because you are witnessing the Ukraine and Russia war. That is always on the, you can say, everything is on your, you can say, push, just push the button and everything will happen. No, we have to live with the peace technology that is developed by the Gandhiji in our all walks of life. And again, this is very important slide. Work for education for peace, or you can say sustainable development, education in peace, or education with peace, and ultimately peace in education. How we can get the idea, or you can say values of peace in our education, how we can inculcate that peace ideas among the youth. And with that, there is another 3L mantras: learning, living, that must be connection with the love and respect, or love and compassion. 3L mantra: learning, living, that must be, you can say, connect with the love. That is said by Mahatma Gandhi again. And if you remember about the education, 4 pillars of education that was described by the UNESCO. One is learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, or learning to live together. But here we can add 5th, you can say, pillar from Mahatma Gandhi philosophy, that is learning for the transformation of yourself as well as your society. That is mantra for the youth. That is a 5th pillar of, you can say, Gandhiji. And again, as done by Gandhiji, we have to work for our 5 P's. One is planet, as said by Sir, how we can live with the simplicity, minimalization of the our, you can say, needs, how we can save the planet. And second, we have to work with the people for the people. And third, then we will think about the planet and people, then ultimately it will goes to our prosperity. And this will happen only with the partnership of the good people, or collaboration of the good people. And ultimately that will, you can say, give you the peace and the society, to your society. And sorry. Sometimes as a youth, you are forwarding just messages. Don't forward the message. Take the lessons from these 3 great personality. First, forward yourself. Second, forward your society, and how you can forward your, you can say, humanity. Work for the humanity. There is again, this is a mantra. or how we can include all the, you can say, people of the society. This is 7 A's for inclusion, because Santi sir has given only 15 minutes. That's why. One is accessibility of all, acceptability. Third is availability of the resources, adaptability, adequacy, adjustability, and accountability. And these are the, you can say, there are many keys in my laptop or computer. So you can learn from there, keys to promote the inclusion. What do you mean by that? One is unlock. What we have to unlock? Resources of our community for all the people, we have to unlock. And then there is a key, home. Home means welcome all. Maybe they belongs to whichever community or religion or reason, whatever. And delete. What have to delete? That discrimination on any basis, maybe on religion, maybe on caste, maybe reason, whatever is. And end. End means end all type of inequalities in our society. And what we have to alter, that is our attitude. And escape harm to anybody, not only human being, but all the beings. And enter. Enter means partnership with the each other, with the good people. And this is very important slide. Doing is important, because we are knowing everything or maximum thing, but that doesn't make a, you can say, difference. But feeling makes some difference, but will make it is the third one, that doing will make lot of differences. So we will keep doing the you can say ideals, ideas, philosophy. We have to continue work on that. And yeah, got it. This is the how we can live with the simplicity. This is the slide for simplicity, how we can live with the simplicity, or how we can live with the minimize, you can say, your needs. Because always we are thinking about the greed. So we have to think about our need, and that will create our best society, best in when we are best in our behavior, when we are best in, we will get the best environment, and that will be only with the service attitude, and that will be change your thought. And there are 3 challenges with youths: how you can convert your ignorance to knowledge, hatred to compassion, and greed to generosity. Mahatma Gandhi told about these in one way or the other way. So this is all about my presentation, sir. So with these words, thank you all. Thank you, Santi sir, and thank you all. If you have any question, doubt, suggestion, whatever you want, add, delete, whatever you can. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Chahar. Anyone? Any questions, please?
Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. You spoke about man making.
Man making, yeah.
Yeah. Can you, because of gender issues, can you please expand on that? What do you mean?
Okay. Man making education, yes. Suppose we are more focusing on academics part, especially in our education. But man-making education is whole personality, or you can say development of the personality, how to be a good human being. So there are many ways, there are many teachings by Gandhiji or other leaders. So we have to imbibe those in our character, or you can say in our day-to-day life. Then that education will serve the purpose. Only we are preparing the, you can say, person or youth for the gold medal of the university or for the job. That is okay. That is one part. But we have to, as suggested by Mahatma Gandhi, 3H. We have to work on that. One is head, that is your intellectual part. One is your heart, that is your emotional part. And one is hand, that is your skill part. If you will combine these 3, then it will become the holistic education. Then will it become the man-making education, as same said by the Swami Vivekananda. Right? So this is my suggestion.
Yes. Are you referring to a man as a man, meaning man as a male?
No, man is a human being, not a male, female, not a gender bias.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Because I think if you are using the word man,
Yeah,
if
that
women,
may-
when they read,
No,
it
include
might be problematic to them.
there was a
Maybe-
slide inclusion.
yeah.
Inclusion means inclusion of all. No
Yeah,
discrimination.
think-
Yes.
Yeah, that has been the practice from time immemorial to say man includes
Yes.
woman, but actually woman includes the word man in it. That's how
I
it
can
is.
give example, sir. Sir, please. Women, when you say women, women include men. When you say female, then male is there. When you say she, he is there. Okay, thank you.
No,
Sir.
no, I think time has come. People do see now.
Yes, please.
As I present to you, LGBTQ, that create a lot of awareness. And each
We have to
one
think about.
in
We have
any
to think.
shape or form have their own right. So I think it's about time we recognize that, respect it, accept it, and embrace it. And that's what Gandhiji has preached long time ago. He foresaw all these things happening in the society. And this is the way of life. Thank you one and all for participation.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, one more
Yes,
question.
please. Yes, please.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Welcome.
I just want to locate Gandhi in the post-colonial state.
You
And
can't-
once I'm locating him in the post-colonial state where young people are questioning knowledge production and what universities are teaching.
In my opinion, you can't fix Gandhi with any era or with any age. Gandhi was, Gandhi is, and Gandhi will remain. In every era.
There's a lot of controversies going on about Gandhiji. Maybe you are trying to address that part.
You're talking-
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. My involvement in this conference is to address the fifth generation of Gandhis.
Yeah.
So usually alternate alternate generations, things change. So Gandhi, what Gandhi was emulated by Gandhi's grandchildren. And then the third, fifth generation will again adopt and revive those kind of things. So the impact and importance and significance of Gandhi is going to come very soon. And I'm very hopeful for that. And I'm sure it's going to happen.
I think the presenter could not allow me to finish and position the question.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, because for me, I'm trying to locate Gandhi in the post-colonial state where young people are questioning the knowledge that we are teaching them at the university by saying that the knowledge that we are teaching them exclude the knowledge of the global south. How can they be smart to theorize the point that you mentioned about smart and you did explain some of your things? Can they be smart with the knowledge that is expected them to get it in peace, which is not theirs,
No.
which exclude?
Absolutely no.
Thanks.
Absolutely no. Because I have given another slide. There was after smart slide, there was another slide. Knowledge means not only knowledge of your book is knowledge. I include that's why holistic education, etc. We are talking about that.
I think we have to reintroduce these leaders into the minds of young minds, especially at high school level. If you see at the college, already they are committed to make money as fast as they can and become rich as they can. But if we come to high school children, that's where we can put a transition. And that's where we need to change the thought process. And that's where my aim is, and we all should contribute to that. At high school level, how can we introduce? It's not anymore greed over need. It's Gandhi always promoted need over greed. He always says there's enough resources on the earth for everybody's needs,
But
not for
the
one's
greed.
greed.
Yes.
Now we are having so much 5 trillionaires controlling 95% of the wealth, and 95% of the people don't have that much money. So we are looking into the future, which will be hopeful, and most probably we see the change. As I was saying, be the change we want to see in the world, which is the being thoughtful, mindful, truthful, hopeful, faithful, graceful, and grateful. I know It is where we're just giving lectures. How can we put it into practice is through education. And there we all need your services, thoughts, and actions, both as parents, educators, friends, and colleagues and partners in life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Shah.
Okay.
We want to put thoughts into the young mind, but young mind should also be prepared not only by school or the lectures or only history, the family, their community, and what we call a village. I think everyone's participation molds their brain since they are very, very young. As we heard earlier, how Gandhiji was influenced until his age of 16 by the mother, by the father, by the gurus. So it is multiple aspects of children to influence them and how they those things come out when they come across a problem.
It should be collaborative efforts. Yes, you are right.
Yes.
Family has a
Because
great role.
Gandhiji also changed at the age of 24.
Values never
Thank
be taught, but it can be caught by following the values from the family, values of the society. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, though he was educated in London, after he came to Bombay, where he was a failure as a lawyer, then he met with one of these gurus, which the young boy presented, Rai Chandji. There he had the revelation, realization, and purpose of his life. Then came the opportune moment to come to South Africa. If I had stayed back in India, India would have changed. But South Africa was the beneficiary of him coming here, and then the rest is history. I think that's all what happened, and we hope to see many Gandhis. Gandhi doesn't mean it's as a principle, not a human being. And that principle is the one has to capture, incorporate, imbibe, and what you call exchange with others. So thank you one and all. I think it's time for lunch. One more question, please, sir.
Thank you very much. If you allow me just to bite to the first presenter.
Sorry?
No, just to bite to the second presenter about feminism. I think we missed the point of women's rights to comment on that. It's a very important point. I'm acknowledging the presentation. I'm going to go there because it speaks of Gandhi's value of nonviolence, where our institutions are dominating with violence. And we don't speak truth to power to condemn. If we are saying we have to believe and live the legacy or the values of Gandhi, we should address the issue of violence. It's a violence of children to get pregnant in school by adults. Because I believe now the Premier of KZN, if it's not yesterday, delivered the statistics of 85% of early child pregnant in schools, meaning the right of women for opportunities are already infringed. I just want that one to consider. Now, to align to the presentation by Doc there, how do we unlock and address that? Inclusivity of such an act in an education system. Also, to add to my brother, how do we put and position Gandhi on the point of education system in our lifetime, checking the imbalance of the past, where we learned the issue of the European philosophy and theory. Now we have got a post-democratic, where we should be distributing in our bookshop the philosophies and the teaching and learning of Gandhi, Mandela, and etc., so that they tend to learn. And also not to stop there. How do we apply these to animation? Now our young now kids are learning Superman. Who's Superman? Why can't they learn the growth of Gandhi? We cartoonize Magandhi, but we get the message was most of these children are investing their time on television. But our television, is it the content that builds the knowledge? Thank you.
I think point well taken, and I think future is still beautiful. I don't think it's impossible or we are at the end of the world. I think I can see a ray of hope by conducting such conferences and elevating and exciting youngsters to think different. That's where our role comes to. And this is a good beginning, and we hope to have such conferences across the globe. And every year here, I think we have youth conference in South Africa and Pietermaritzburg. And for last 3 years, I have got students from US participating in it. So there's a possibility they'll come in more numbers and we'll create a new society. And I call that new society is called GIFTS, GIFTS, Gandhi-inspired free thinkers society. Let's hope the new world order will start today, if not tomorrow. Thank you one and all for participation.
Thank you.
Good day to you. Please do come back after the lunch. Choose one of the round tables and participate. Then only we can enlarge our knowledge and increase our wisdom. Thank you. Thank you.
Root. Corny streamer, a mixer, camera guy. Main Toba cam. Do you want to mix or
Anything is fine. You can-
mix then? No mix.
Okay, we say that now. Start session.
Yeah, Velutinje. Start recording, that's all. And as long as I end, so it's still on.
Oh, it's still running, so.
It's still on, yeah. It's still on.
From time to time, we check this out, like,
Wait.
Okay, so there's a big fan here, so that's what my hand is too. My phone is was it quick word of caution. Again.
Oh, you're playing a video.
Yes.
Okay.
So we don't.
Oh, yeah. All right. That's all.
That's it. You want to check clear?
Okay, then let's take feed from here.
Yes.
Yeah, the sound is connected.
Okay, it's already.
Okay,
Yeah, right.
I was they're playing a video. Dude. Playing a video this time. Yeah.
It has to come.
Yeah, it's just good.
Yeah. He's already done. It should.
Okay, it's on. Oh, I think the laptop is muted. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's on 40. Oop. Madam. Yeah. No, he hasn't plugged it in that side. Sometimes the small things, you just don't know.
Anyway, we have time.
Yeah. Well, the people didn't leave and then come back.
Okay. So it will be next, right?
So we're going to move him first.
Okay.
He doesn't mind.
Yeah.
Then he can relax a little. Then we're going to present all three and then him stick around for maybe one question. Okay. Going to give them their 15 minutes to present. We won't do discussion afterwards. We'll take discussion right at the end, rather.
After 3?
Yeah, after the
Okay.
3 presentations. So we don't interrupt and go over.
Okay. Yeah, still, Kanye. He's playing here though.
No, actually in the player, do we have it muted? Can go to player?
No, there's the player over there so that people can see it.
No, go to the player. Player also will have the sound setting.
So what you're saying?
Yeah, go to the player, I'll tell you.
Okay, there, we're on the player now.
We'll have the
education system. What it does is actually online technologies such as Zoom and in-person learning in order to teach students. Essentially, the primary goal of this is using technology to enable learning and teaching students skills. This, of course, falls in line with the idea of using self-education as a means of self-improvement in Naitalim, since the students would be using their education and their technology to improve their learning and their learning So there are some key pros to this type of education. For example, it reduces conformity, especially when students are speaking online. Because it means that with technology, they can do things in a different manner that nobody else thought of. And of course, that is extremely valuable since it means that everybody is improving themselves and their ability to think while working on learning. Furthermore, it also reduces paper limitations and increases independent learning, since students will be allowed to work in the manner that they themselves, while also being able to use the technology to amplify their own learning. This, of course, fits in with the concepts of Naitalim and the ability of using education to improve yourself. Since students will be using their education in order to teach themselves their skills that others will not have. This also ensures that everybody will have the basic ability to use technology, which is something that is increasingly Bagnoli at all universities of professors of the University of Baghdad that students will conform to things more than they did when they were online. Furthermore, this also leads to another. Hello, my name is Kashik Galamudi, and this is my presentation on Naitalim and the reduction of conformity in order to improve the education system. So what is Naitalim developed by Gandhiji, which places a great focus on self-sufficiency. What it does is that it ensures that students get a basic education in handicrafts, which in Gandhiji's time meant making sandals, making cloth, and other such things in order to make them self-sufficient. What this can lead to is schools becoming independent of the state, since the schools can fulfill all of their needs with the things that they have on hand. For example, if you're teaching students how to make cloth for themselves, this can be done without the assistance of the state, which makes the schools independent of the state. The primary goal of Naitalim is a basic education in normal handicrafts for all. For example, these handicrafts can include things such as making clothes or repairing clothes or working on something that would be normal. And what this can lead to is less elite.
teaching voice. Oh, you want me to use the mic? Oh, you want on? Oh, okay. So, good afternoon and welcome to Roundtable 3. And in Roundtable 3, you will see that we're going to be focusing on peace and justice education. Now, from the previous roundtables, you're going to see that a lot of some of the issues that we touched on, we're going to now pick up on again and further elaborate on. So let me introduce myself. My name is Professor Ruth Hoskins. I'm from the College of Humanities here at UKZN. I'm the Dean of Teaching and Learning in the college. My co-chair is Dr. Shamla Rama, right? She's also from the discipline of sociology. And then I have Mr. Feruzin Gwamba, who is supporting us as the graduate assistant, and he is from political science. And we're going to basically be chairing the session. We have 3 presentations today. Our first presenter is in the United States, Mr. Kaushik Kolamudi, and he will be not presenting in person, but rather his presentation will be a virtual one. And then that's going to be followed by Mr. Lawazi Mbuko. Mr. Lawazi Mbuko is local. He is from the Pietermaritzburg area. And then our third presenter, okay, is dressed so beautiful today in red, okay, is Bhavya Mukamala. And what we're going to do is we're going to allow each of our presentations to go through the presentation, and then we're going to ask you to please hold your comments and questions for later on. All right. I'm now going to ask Dr. Rama to please come through and introduce our first presenter in this roundtable. Thank you so much, Dr. Rama.
Good day, everyone. The first presenter is Kaushik Kolamadi, and he's looking at, I think, most appropriate in terms of the questions, as Prof said, that were asked. Education in the eyes of Mahatma Gandhi and the influence of conformity on education. Kaushik is a junior at Barrington High School with an interest in science and history. He enjoys reading and playing chess, and right now he has actively participates in Scholastic Bowl and chess and is an active member of the national level teams for both activities. He's also attempting to publish his own research in a science journal and will be presenting a paper on glaucoma at the World Glaucoma Congress in 2023. Please, we can go ahead with his presentation.
Presenter, just a minute before you start, I have my card here. While you are presenting, you're going to see me raising the card up to notify you how many minutes remain for you to conclude your presentation. Thank you so much. We are not sure if the first presenter is ready.
Hello, my name is Kashik Galamudi, and this is my presentation on Naitalim and the reduction of conformity in order to improve the education system. So what is Naitalim? Naitalim is a principle developed by Gandhiji, which places a great focus on self-sufficiency. What it does is that it ensures that students get a basic education in handicrafts, which in Gandhiji's time meant making sandals, making cloth, and other such things in order to make them self-sufficient. What this can lead to is schools becoming independent of the state, since the schools can fulfill all of their needs with the things that they have on hand. For example, if you're teaching students how to make cloth for themselves, this can be done without the assistance of the state, which makes the schools independent of the state. The primary goal of Naitalim is a basic education in normal handicrafts for all. For example, these handicrafts can include things such as making clothes or repairing clothes or working on something that would be normal. And what this can lead to is less elitism, since it means that everybody had a common education when they were a child, and this can lead to more understanding between different groups of people. So why is Naitalim important? The primary goal of Naitalim is education for the sake of self-improvement. For example, teaching students to improve themselves by learning how to fix things is one of the main goals of Naitalim. Furthermore, it makes sure that useful life skills, such as making their own clothes, are taught. However, Naitalim is somewhat outdated due to the principles that are commonly found in today's world not applying to the time when Naitalim was first created. Due to this, possible uses of Naitalim in conjunction with other education has not yet been discussed. So 188 years, it has been 188 years since the modern education system was first developed, according to a paper written by professors from the University of Arizona. So the education system is outdated. 200 years is a long time, and morals, customs, traditions, values, and the system through which people learn have all changed in those 200 years. One of the biggest issues with this educated system being outdated is that it leads to a negative learning environment, which leads to high conformity. So this may lead to the question of what is conformity? Conformity is when students feel the need to do the exact same thing as other students in the classroom so that they think they can achieve similar results. And this is problematic because it has a negative impact on learning. For example, it leads to lower intrinsic motivation. If students are all told to do the exact same thing, it means that there is less motivation to work on things outside of class and try to figure out a unique solution for a project. Furthermore, it also leads to lower creativity since everybody is encouraged to do the exact same things in order to get the same results as others. And finally, this is in line with the basic ideals of Naitalim, since reducing conformity means that everybody gets a better education and can improve themselves, which is a primary goal of Naitalim. So this leads to the research question of how should learning environments be changed in order to reduce conformity and fulfill the goals of Naitalim as best as possible in a modern environment. One of the first education systems that I discovered while learning about education and the possibility of implementing Naitalim is the hybrid education system. What it does is that it utilizes a combination of virtual or online technologies such as Zoom and in-person learning in order to teach students. Essentially, the primary goal of this is using technology to enable greater learning in teaching students skills. This, of course, falls in line with the idea of using self-education as a means of self-improvement in Naitalim, since the students would be using their education and their technology to improve their learning and improve themselves as a result of that. So there are some key pros to this type of education. For example, it reduces certain types of conformity, especially when students are speaking online, because it means that with technology, they can do things in a different manner that nobody else would have thought of. And of course, that is extremely valuable since it means that everybody is improving themselves and their ability to think while working on learning. Furthermore, it also reduces student limitations and increases independent learning, since students will be allowed to work in the manner that they deem the best for themselves, while also being able to use the technology to amplify their own learning. This, of course, fits in with the concept of Nait Talim and the ability of using education to improve yourself, since students will be using their education in order to teach themselves new skills that others will not have. This also ensures that everybody will have the basic ability to use technology, which is something that is increasingly important in today's world. However, there are some cons to the hybrid education system. For example, one of the key cons is that it leads to an increase in some forms of conformity. When students are interacting with each other in person in a hybrid education environment, it has been shown by Bagnoli et al. Professors of the University of Baghdad, that students will conform to things more than they did when they were online. Furthermore, this also leads to another key disadvantage of the hybrid education system, which is that students will typically have disadvantages if they are in the minority, since they will be unable to access technology. This, of course, goes against the concept of Nait Talim, since the prospect of Nait Talim is that everybody gets an equal education in the basic things that the lower class people would be skilled in. And this, of course, is the exact opposite of that, which is a problem. Furthermore, the hybrid education system can also lead to potential mental health issues. Being online and having little exposure to other people can lead to mental health issues, since it means that students will have lower opportunities to interact with each other. And this could be problematic since the main goal of Nait Talim is self-improvement. And this means that students will be unable to do that since they are damaging themselves by being online so much of the time. Another possible education system, which was discussed in conjunction with Nait Talim, is the mastery education system, which places a greater emphasis on learning and learning for the sake of learning. The mastery education system places an emphasis on students using their ability to learn as much as possible and to not worry about their grades, since it means that students can take the tests as often as they need to in order to get the score they need. What this does is that it ensures that students learn the material for the sake of learning the material and retain the material, which is one of the goals of Nait Talim, since it leads to self-improvement through education. So, as I explained, there were some key pros to using the mastery education system. For example, it leads to a better understanding of the material. For example, when a bunch of doctors and surgeons were using the mastery education system in their class while learning surgery, it was shown that they better retain the material. And if it works for doctors, why would it not work for normal students? Furthermore, it also reduces conformity within the classroom. Since students are allowed to do as many different things as they need to in order to get the correct results, it means that students do not feel pressured in order to get good grades and do the same thing as everybody else. This, of course, fits in with the concept of Nait Talim, since it means that students are allowed to do whatever they deem is important in order to improve themselves. Of course, there are some key limitations of the concept of mastery education. For example, it is time-consuming for teachers. As with Nait Talim, in which teachers and students usually work and live together and both learn from each other, in the mastery education system, teachers spend far more time around their students than they would in a normal education system. This means that it is extremely time-consuming for teachers because they need to make time for each and every one of their pupils, which could lead to smaller class sizes. Furthermore, it could also be potentially costly to implement, since teachers will have to be paid for all the extra time that they are teaching individual students, and the amount of material for each and every single student will probably have to be increased in order to compensate for the fact that they will be allowed to use it as often as needed. Furthermore, there is little research in combining the solutions of mastery education system and implementing some of the principles of Nai Talim into them, which means that there is an unknown impact on conformity and how this may impact self-education and self-improvement through education, which of course is a key goal of Nai Talim. So there are some key implications of using the mastery education system. The first one is that it improves learning and reduces conformity. These are, of course, in line with the concept of Nai Talim, since Nai Talim places a great emphasis on learning basic skills. And what the mastery education system ensures is that students learn the basic skills they need in order to succeed in future classes, thus showing a combination of the mastery education system and Nai Talim. Furthermore, this can also lead to students learning the basic skills they need to succeed in today's environment with the technology that they need to be able to use to get a successful job in today's environment. Furthermore, if such a solution is effective, a new education system can be implemented in schools, which would help spread the ideals and goals of Gandhiji to the wider world. As of right now, only India and some other nations utilize the principles and goals of Gandhiji. However, if this solution can be proven to be effective in teaching students how to use basic skills, such that they can always be good at something no matter how they do in education, it could mean that other nations would adopt the principles of Gandhiji, which could greatly help our world as a whole. Another key thing is that it leads to a shift of learning towards learning for the sake of learning. Nai Talim focuses on learning how to do basic skills such as creating cloth or creating sandals or fixing things in order to improve the self. And this is similar because of the emphasis on learning for the sake of learning. People will learn as a means of self-improvement, which of course fits in with the ideals of Nai Talim. So our final solution was the utilization of a mastery education system with technology in schools. What this does is that it reduces negative sources of conformity and enables greater learning. This means that students are free to learn in the manner that they deem best, while also learning more things than they might in a normal classroom environment. This, of course, fits in with the ideals and concepts of Nai Talim, since it means that students are learning the basic skills that they need in order to succeed in the future, which, of course, is a key goal of Nai Talim, while also learning things that are important in today's modern society. So why is finding a solution important? Well, the key thing is that our education system is extremely archaic. As I explained at the start of this presentation, our education system has not been updated in around 200 years. This means that in 200 years, our ideals, our morals, our values, our traditions, and how people learn and what they used to learn have all changed. And the education system has not been updated to reflect that. But with changing the education system and updating it, we can further improve how people learn and make sure that they get the basic skills that they need in order to survive in a changing world, while also learning and improving themselves. Furthermore, this also leads to an increased effectiveness of schools in teaching students. Since people will be focused on learning things for the sake of learning and improving themselves, there will be less focus on learning for the sake of getting a grade. And this means that students will learn things that will be useful in the long term for them and for other people as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will be taking questions at the end of the 3 presentations. I'm going to introduce our next speaker. Lwazi Mbuko is from South Africa. He is with the Teach a Black Child Foundation organization. Quite aptly, he is a UNISA, which is a sister higher education institution in South Africa, and he is a law graduate.
All right. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody.
Okay. So we can use this.
All right. Good evening. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lwazi, and thank you very much, Chalady, of the session. Let me just greet the international community present, the comrades of the media, and all our guests. Good afternoon. I have been tasked to speak about or address education inequality. And for me, it was a very hard topic to simmer upon, ponder upon it, and break it down. The reason why it was hard, it is because, one, I had to be sober for a moment and ask myself, what is education? Well, at least in the context of Africa, what is education? And then, what has sponsored the unequal education? In a country that Nelson Mandela has said, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world, then one needs to hit a pause and say, which education was he talking about? In a country where Robert Mangaliso Sobugwe said to us, education is service for Africa. But now, which education are we talking about? Now, my initial question then is, what does sponsor or what sponsors this unequal education? And I found a very thorny reason as to why we've got unequal education in this country. It is because of the racial color lines that has been imposed upon humanity, black and white, colored or Indian. That's the reason why we've got unequal education in this country. You must remember at the height of Bantu Education Act, Black people in particular were subjected to receive inferior education in terms of methodology, philosophy, infrastructure, and everything. So that's why in this country, we've got unequal education, which therefore saddens me the most. In a democratic, Black-dominated country, we still are experiencing unequal education even today. In the great words of Sizwe Mpofu Walsh, he says, apartheid or segregation was not abolished but privatized, operating in small spaces. Now, what is education? And what does it intend to do for a life of a Black child? Those who are well educated are saying education is receiving and giving a systematic instruction. And now I want us to interrogate history. What has education done for Africa and its people? What has education done for the continent of Africa? Patrice Lumumba unequivocally states that education has failed Africa. For Africans have received education that programs them to be obedient puppets of the system. In a country where we advocate for practical, actionable, pregnant education that makes people live off their gifts, but not this education. Hence the initial question that one asked, what does education intend to do for an African child? I want to speak about decolonization of education. As Dr. Sane earlier on said, that we need to decolonize education from the roots. And therefore, it may seem a very complex and rigid thing. How can you decolonize education? But it's simply teaching a Black child about African experiences that a child from Guanongoma in the rural areas can relate. Because when they come to cosmetic institutions of this nature, they become prey of their very selves. An education system that does not inspire confidence. An education system that tells a Black child that you need education so to be certified, wherein we are suffering from a height of unemployment. What education are we speaking about? There's a quote that says people don't revolt because they've got a clear plan of governance, but they revolt simply because they cannot breathe. And that's what we've been confronted with brutally as Black children. So for us, before we even try to find solutions of at least trying to put education at the same equilibrium, but we need to ask as to what sponsors it? And is the brutal color lines that none of us here had an intention of doing. At the end of the day, we're all common humanity, and we need to overcome that. Now, there's a man called John Henry Newmark who speaks about liberative education. When he speaks about liberative education, ladies and gentlemen, what does it mean? At first, I thought it has got to do with political slogans and political chants, wherein I was mistaken. Liberation education seeks to say, you teach a child according to their abilities. If you see Lwazi from a very early age, he loves to work with water, aquatics and whatnot, then you must find something relating to that. That is liberative education. The Christianity Bible unequivocally states to say God blesses the work of your hands, not the education you receive. Hence, the initial question that one posed was, what does education, well, Western education, what has it done for Africa? Because in the African paradox, we've got our own education that teaches you do things with your hands, actionable education. Today, our foreign brothers are living comfortably in our country, and we applaud that. What is it that they do? They are car mechanics, fix phones, cut our hair. And then you ask them, who taught you this? He'll say, no, this to me was coerced. Live with your hands. Now, for us to find solutions, I think we need to decolonize education, but at that decolonize our minds. How so? To realize that we're common humanity. And I find it hard that Black people can never try to find solutions to an education system that was not created by them. It's more like saying, Lwazi, you need to end racism. I personally cannot, because I'm not the one who brought it anyway. So we need collective hands, all hands on deck. Mahatma Gandhi speaks about be the change that you want to see in others. Yes. But in a mafia state of a country, where do I begin to speak? Ladies and gentlemen, in this country, you've got two education systems. And I'll say without fear nor favor. We've got IEB and the NSC, National Senior Certificate, that I graduated from, that most Black people graduate from. Well, at least the offsprings of the marginalized, economic dispossessed. NSC, that gives you no proper infrastructure. The IEB, they've got air conditioners. When it's hot, they've got fans. When it's cold, they've got heaters. The NSC, there are no windows in winter. For some of you might read this in articles and in newspapers, but for some it's a lived experience. Now, here's a girl from a school called the Kwapata, which by the way is quartiled, the concept of quartiled education, which falls under the de-commodification of education. Then Zuma spoke about free education, declared it in fact. But I want us to ask ourselves as to why in every beginning of every year we'll have protests. Because those who are protesting are not hooligans. And I don't think they enjoy terror no anarchy. But as I said, that people don't revolt because they've got a clear plan of governance.
5 minutes.
Thank you. But they revolt because they can no longer breathe. And in this country of ours, education is a business where if you don't have money, then you are not going to get good education. Good education, I mean education that guarantees you employment after receiving it. That's the education I speak about. In closure, Mahatma Gandhi died with a dream. And today I do have the same dream. The dream that says the only way to conquer this system, because all is part of the system. In fact, it's a challenge. We need to crumble, crash, and destroy this tyrant of a system so that it can never rise and put its foot on our necks again. Unequal education is sponsored because of the racial lines that are imposed on us as the people. But then all of us in this room right now can pledge our solidarity to say, not in my name. As Martin Luther King uttered, he said, I have been to the mountaintop. I may never get there with you, but I've been. Frantz Fanon speaks about every generation having their generational mission. It is then up to them to fulfill it or betray it. And I say, mine is to advocate that the Black children must be taught. In the great quote of Bantu Bonke Biko Steve, he says we're all opponents of not human beings, but the system that imposed on people. I thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, no questions. All right.
Thank you. Our next presenter is Bhavya Mukumala, and her title is Education, an Enabler to Better Career or Better Human Being. So very succinct, very comparable presentations, really powerful words coming through, and I'm sure Bhavya, you're going to add to that. Bhavya is from the Gandhi King Foundation in India. Bhavya, please do.
Very good afternoon, everyone. So glad to see the very younger generation. I'm really glad to have you today as our audience. So the topic which I'm going to discuss about is about education, whether it's an enabler to a better career or a better human being. I'm Bhavya from Gandhi King Foundation, Hyderabad, India. So I'm a full-time employee with Vodafone, and I'm a biotechnology engineer by education. So I basically volunteer Gandhi King Foundation for its activities in India. So before getting into the presentation, I would like to ask you all a few questions. What is the purpose of education? Can anyone answer? Yes, please. Sorry?
So you can get a good career to make money for a living.
Great. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I don't need that. Well, supposedly to bring out that which is naturally within. But for me, that suggests that as children, we have potential that people should identify. And then
Great. Anyone else?
Education for me means bringing out your inner self to forth.
Well said. So I have another question for you all. How many of you think that education is an enabler for your career? Anyone else?
It's just
Yes,
voting.
yes. How many of you think that education is an enabler for your career? Okay. And how many of you think that education is also helping you out to be a better human being? Glad. So basically, education is for building a holistic human being. So that is the major purpose which is required in today's world. I would like to share about the education in the Indian context. Higher education, especially college education, has been focusing more on the technical and subject knowledge expertise with a minimal or no orientation towards the softer aspects of human life. Like it could be like human personality. India builds greater engineers with fantastic technical excellence, and they are pretty employable, and they are almost, everyone gets a very good job. However, the question is about the sustainability. Being a full-time employee, I basically, my job is to deal with, I handle close to some 100+ employees. What I truly notice is most of the people are really lacking the skills of teamwork, empathy, and honesty, care for their co-employees or peers. And that's a very major element which is actually required. Professional skills anyone can hold, but these are also the basic elements which every individual as a human being should possess. So to avoid this, I truly, I feel that there should be a focus of education which should include the values, morals, ethics in the core curriculum. In my schooling, especially my primary schooling, I used to have a subject called moral science. I really don't remember that what I was taught because it was in the formative years of my life. But I think that it's a very, very important to have the element of human betterness in the curriculum across the stages of education, be it be your primary school or be it be your higher education. I really feel that it's very, very, very important to have. So this way, there will be a consistent effort in building people to be better. I would like to add an important point over here. Any skill which you would like to learn, can you learn it overnight? Like excelling in a sport, be it be badminton or be it be any game, playing a violin, can you excel it in overnight? No, right? It needs a lot of practice, maybe days, maybe weeks, maybe months, or maybe years. Similarly, putting into practice every day to build the human skills or people skills will definitely help in building a better human being. And education is the only way to deal with that. My suggestion would be having a serious inclusion of finishing school concepts that will include ethics, morals, values, etc. in the credit system of the curriculum will definitely help this. So this way, students take this seriously and they can really work hard to graduate successfully from an academic and human point of view. I know most of you will be cursing me that I'm suggesting to add few more courses into the curriculum, but trust me, as an individual and as a human being, you will definitely grow and you'll be a happy and contented person when you're able to work for your society, when you're able to help your society. That's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to all three of the speakers. It's very clear that in this round table, and coming in from a teaching and learning perspective, whether we're looking at school, our basic education, or our higher education system, the emphasis right from the get-go, from Kashik all the way through Lawazi to Bhavia, there's been a thread around putting in skills, right? And putting in basic competencies that improve us as humans. And what is lacking in our curricula across the board And when we talk about decolonization, stems from the fact that really the type of education system we currently have, be it in basic education or higher education, is really not bringing out the societal need that we require. And interestingly enough, Lwazi was speaking about the African context, Bobby was speaking about the Indian context, and Kaushik, as he sits at the moment, was also referencing the context within the United States. So we want to say thank you first and foremost. You know, they didn't plan it, but I think if you sat through all, you realize the interwovenness, right? All the way through from Gandhi, okay, the Taimali, all the way through Mandela and aspects as well, okay, in the human rights movement in the States. So we really want to commend them. I think we must give them another round of applause, because the presentations have been sincerely enlightening. Okay, we're now going to open the floor for comments, questions, right? And I see Dr. Sonti is already standing. He had his hand up before I even had an opportunity to take over the mic. So, sir, I'm going to allow you. And I see a hand at the back. There you go.
I'm sorry, because my wife says I'm 77 years old, but I'm a 7-year-old in a 77-year-old body. That's why my enthusiasm is like that. But I'm seeing a lot of change happening both in system in USA and India. African context, you opened my eyes. I'm an ophthalmologist. I have a sight, now you gave me vision. No, really. So interesting thing is, there is one comment I'll make which will be very controversial. I'll base it on Gandhiji's statement. Gandhiji has said, quotation is, this earth has resources for everybody's need, but not for everybody's greed, anybody's greed. So that in that context, once, with all due respect, MBA education is what is called introduced, the whole world changed towards greed. Sorry for that solid statement. If there are any professors on business administration, I apologize to you, because that where everybody wants to get into the high Ivy League systems into business administration. In India, they created the same Ivy Leagues, created clones in India. So now India, what's happening is the languages, native languages are not being taught. One chief minister of our own says that if they have an extra hour, learn more technical skills, more English, forget about your native language. So native languages have no relevance. And I'm happy to see Humanities Institute is conducting this program, not Technology Institute. If it's a Technology Institute, it will be charging $1,000 for 1 hour and make more money and make you get more money. So this greed, we have to remove from the education. How do we introduce in basic? What she said is correct. The value system. The value is not how much money you make. The value is how do you make that money? The value is not how do you spend that money. The value is where do you donate that money? The important thing is when you make more money, it is not don't improve the quality of living, improve the quality of giving. So these are all the principles I want to see. I have been to education myself in India. My both children went to education in the USA. I see the same thing. And both are very well educated, but they didn't become MBAs, at least to my satisfaction. But I think this is the system. So I think we have to totally change the system. Sir, can you tell, if Black education stays the way it is, it develops more humans. I don't want the higher education to these people. Pardon me if I said that, not because I'm already higher educated. I don't mind staying native and enjoy the resources to the level I want than grasp with greed everybody's resources, which the role of the world is doing. And it's pathetic, and very pathetic. Thank you.
Okay, there was a hand at the back there.
Thank you. So I'm a life orientation teacher, and I've taught at a government, and a private school now. So I've seen the effect of this idea that we talked about the differences in the education. And I think that in South Africa, we are like our life orientation syllabus. The intention is this idea of morals and values, but we are focusing too much on an outcomes based of like your results and like having marks and being able to give marks for those skills. And I think that in South Africa, we've got life orientation. The intention was to focus on these soft skills of teamwork and those types of things that she spoke about. And I think that regardless whether it's an NSC or an IEB school, I think that the problem remains that the overall system, we've lost the purpose of what life orientation is. And I feel like in the context of what we've spoken about, it's actually possibly the most valuable subject we actually have in our whole syllabus. And I maintain it's the best subject purely because I think that it has so much room to do things. And I think that if we as a society in South Africa can harness what life orientation was intended for, maybe we can get back to those soft skills that we need, and we can get back to ultimately just trying to work as humans rather than worrying about all the other sort of factors.
I just feel like the life orientation educators are the salt of the earth. And before you came in, I was already saying to Shamla, what work needs to be done in terms of the curriculum? We who are in the business of training educators, right, or teachers who go back into the basic education system, what work are we doing with them, right, in this particular aspect when it comes to life orientation? And when you look at the South African higher education context, you know what we do for their performance on life orientation? We dumb it down. We want to take maths, we want to take stats, we want to take geography. And if you have life orientation, we discount it when you get into higher education. And yet we're saying the complete opposite here. And funny enough, even the people who are doing the MBAs, if you track back the graduate attributes, the teams that are highly effective have the soft skills. You have to be able to operate in a team. You've got to be a team player. You've got to have, in terms of leadership, empathy, right, as well as care of your team. So to be effective, even in that very, you know what I'm saying, commercialized world requires, okay, the soft skills. I'm seeing another hand here.
I'm sorry if I stutter. My question is for Lwazi. I come from a small town called Richmond, where a lot of our adults don't know how to read, don't know how to speak English. And my question for you is, do you ever get discouraged or doubt whether or not the sacrifice, or rather the fight of freedom and equality in terms of education was worth it when you look at our current generation where kids don't want to attend classes, they'd rather stick around and drink, smoke, or be with girlfriends?
Okay, this chair is I'm gonna be very healthy after this. I should have made Feruzi run.
Thank you very much. Please mention your name to me. Lusanda. No, thank you very much for the question, Lusanda. It's very thought-provoking. I don't think I've got capacity to answer it, but I'll attempt it. Right. Now, you are saying, do I ever get discouraged looking at how things are going down in terms of education? I want to begin by a quote that Solomon Kalushi Mahlangu, a 22-year-old by the time of assassination, he said, "You may kill me, but many more like me are coming, and you can't kill us all." Che Guevara said, "You can kill a man, yes, but his ideas live on." So I don't regret it. The initial purpose that Nelson Dalibunga Mandela and every other freedom fighter that fought for the struggle holistically, then zooming into education. But now we've got to interrogate the current status quo as to What makes young people not want to go to school? I read a book written by Atul Fagad some time back with John Kani called My Children, My Africa. And there it gives you an insight of both worlds, black and white, as to how they receive education. And then there's a quote that says, I used to enjoy going to school. I used to enjoy the sound of the bell, because school at one point was where I get to unleash my fullest potential, till I realized that it's a trap. I don't know if I answered you. But as I said, I will attempt to, but I don't regret, because no one can stand against time. And the bloodshed that occurred in the 2015 Fees Must Fall. Remember how crazy this is. 1976, they fought against the white regime. 2015, same thing occurred. And I know people personally who fought, who were arrested for years. Tanya Tsegeshe from Lukop prison. He was arrested simply because he wanted education that he could not afford. So we were taught to fight. And that's why I say a luta continua, will fight still. And we should encourage these ones now to carry on with the debate. Because Mandela said, the world is in your hands to make it a better place. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thanks, you are all noted. I saw the hand here.
So, yeah, I just wanted to ask the issue of higher education, whereby before you graduate, you need to do an internship and what in order to get your qualification. I think the issue of practicality must start there on the ground and at the basic level, whereby children or students at that level, when we were growing, I am from Tembisa, we had a technical school, whereby we were taught how to make a table, how to make those material that you use for cleaning with steel. We used to do those things. But that education was discarded, because I think that is where that education must be brought back, so that when you are at the higher level, when you are doing a degree, you don't need that internship, because on the ground already you have that internship. Thank you.
Are you going to attempt to comment? Before I come to you, let's allow the lady here to ask.
My question is for Ulwazi. In his speech, he talked about decolonizing education. By that, do you mean like, do we have to start all over the education, like wipe out the whole education and begin it from, like, make out our own education, or should we just try to remove all the bad things about the education?
Thank you so much. I think that is what in our language we say, we normally talk about epistemicide.
No, thank you very much. Please confirm your name for me again. Anita. Okay. No, thank you, Anita. That's a very profound question that I'll attempt to answer. Now, personally, I'd be very much thrilled and ecstatic if we may topple the whole education system, rather. In my utterance, I had said we need to dismantle this tyrant and make sure that it never put its feet on our necks. But I understand that that's a gradual process that I don't think this generation will get to see. However, we can start by making education much more understandable to a Black child. What do I mean? If you are in mathematics, in what, please, what's your school again? St. Nick's. St. Nick's, all right. You see me, I got educated at a township school where we did not have much. And you and I are doing grade 12 in our physics class. And then I'm required to do an experiment. They give me a paper with every criteria written. And they're unequivocally saying that I need a laboratory to do that. And then you also receive the same thing. And then the apparatus tells you what you need to conduct this research. But I do not have a lab. You've got a lab. How are we then, are we anticipated to get the same result? So what I mean is, in the meantime, that we cannot abolish the system, but we need to make it relate to an African child. If I speak in isiZulu, I'm saying, if you speak about the reaction of catalyst, what's or not, yeast. What does it do? So yeast is meant to catalyze the reaction. Make examples that are relatable to a black child. That Lusanda said cannot read nor write. That's what I'm saying. But overall, I want us to topple, because it does not have the interest of people at heart, the entire education. But in the meantime that we can't do that, let us then try to recalibrate and reconfigure it so it can allow a black child. If we are writing our final examinations, the NSC papers are translated in 2 languages that I wish not to disclose. And then me, my native language is isiZulu. And then I'm confronted with this paper, 150 marks, 3 hours. It's written in English and then Afrikaans. Okay, fine. But now I'm having a problem of understanding the very English. And when I want to go to another language, I get confused still. So I don't have fighting chance. I speak to this English that is not well at all on my behalf. So how am I anticipated to do good? So let us topple the entire education system. But at that while we can't, let us reconfigure it. Thank you.
Colleagues, thank you so much. The time is not in our side, but we still can continue with this conversation even during tea, but we are going to take one question. Before I take the last question, I just want to explain to our colleague from outside, we do have access programs in these institutions where you did talk about the issues of point. We acknowledge the inequalities in education system. But equally so, we do have some of those students who went to those rural schools, those schools that are not very well equipped. We acknowledge the challenges that they are facing, but we have developed alternative ways and alternative programs that would allow them to come into our universities. And we provide greater support for them to succeed and to survive in the university. And those are called extended curriculum programs and foundation programs. So let's have that in our mind, especially for you guys who are still in high school. Let's take the last question.
First again, greetings everyone, and I give thanks to the panel. My question is is it Bhavia? Good, I've got your name right. I just wanted to say something very quickly to my brother, and especially the young people in here. There are things we need to consider very quickly when we think about education or dismantling the system. So I was born in England. I've got a twin brother. I got expelled from school at 15. I got expelled from college at 16. My twin brother didn't. He was far more mature than I was in his thinking. I'm talking 1972, I was 15. Because he sussed out, he needed those pieces of paper. I was too busy arguing with my white racist teachers who used to call me every name under the sun, told me I couldn't think, I would be a bricklayer or a cleaner or work in a factory. The educational system is not designed for us in this room. It's designed for rulers. You never, in England, you do not get the history of the working classes. And I think sometimes we need to have the right conversations, because for me, all of my children have excelled because I've said to them, you are not there to learn about yourself as an African person or someone via the Caribbean. You're there to get those pieces of paper, move on. I was interviewed recently and I said to them, as a qualified industrial pipe fitter and a qualified plumbing and heating engineer, my PhD is of no more value than being educated in how to use a drill, a hammer, or a screwdriver. That's the first thing. What I wanted to say to Sis Bavia, if I can call you that, was you said something really interesting about, is it for a career or is it for betterment? And I wondered if you've got a concrete example from your life that you can share with, especially with these young people in here.
So as you were sharing few of your experiences that regarding some kind of criticism or discrimination, even I faced it. I belong to the southern part of India. You were sharing your experiences in 1972, if I'm not wrong, right? I'll share you my experiences when I was a kid, 2000, okay? So I belong to the southern part of India and I was pursuing my education in some western part of India. So there, they used to call us Madrasis. We don't have any specific name. They used to treat us like, as a kid, I used to participate in handwriting competitions. I used to participate in the essay writing, sports, dance, and other academic competitions. I was never well treated because I was a Madrasi and I was not a localite of that particular state. In 2000 also. And I do believe this is still being continued in many other parts. I used to really feel bad that why I am not getting selected for any of the competitions or even for a simple handwriting competition. You know what I used to do? I was in a self-doubt. Very sad part. I was in a self-doubt. And I used to buy so many books of cursive writing. I used to write and write and write, finish off one single book in 1 hour. I used to do like that because I was in a self-doubt, which is a very, very, very sad thing. I used to express this to my father and my grandmother. This happened to me. They used to tell me, you don't bother about others. You don't bother about the teachers. But they used to explain me, you continue to excel. Success will come to you. No matter what, no matter when, but success will definitely come to you. This is what my father said to me. And even in my current profession also, many people have, there are so many office politics that she's a female. Why are you giving an opportunity to her? She might be very good to her boss. That is the reason she is getting a promotion. In my 10 years of career, I got promoted 5 times. Not just because I'm a female, but it's because of my excellence. I strongly believe in that. And I don't even damn care about anything what others say. The only policy which I follow is excelling in my skills, what I was yesterday and how I am today. That's what I strongly believe in. And I, even in the education system, what I was discussing, I truly feel that this kind of moral values are very, very, very important. And anybody can teach us how to excel in your career or how to excel in a subject. But it's just South Africa and it's going down. You may continue. I don't know whether I answered your question or not.
No, absolutely. Because for me, it's just always, every time I try and give, especially young people, practical examples. You see, for those of us who aren't in India, we just be a successful Indian person in front of us. We have no clue what we've been through. Yeah. But now, these young people know it's not because they're in Africa, it's not because it's the way the world is set up.
So what I want to tell is, what I want to tell is, don't think much about the criticism or what is happening around you. But the first and important point which you need to focus as a young generation is excelling yourself, not only in terms of your subject or your profession, but also as a better human being. Thank you. Thank you, Samantha.
Sorry, but I have to say something. Because you hear everywhere about India caste system. Remember that caste system, like here, white and black, you just have poor caste, Brahmins, and those castes. But once IT came, so with IT, all caste people are succeeding at any cost. So hard work. People ask me why Indians are making CEOs of the Fortune 500 companies. They say two things: hard work and resilience. And we are compassionate. And these are the skills one has to develop. There is success all over the place. If you have a degree, you'll have competition. But if you go to competition with a positive attitude, whether female or male, Brahmin or non-Brahmin, white or black, you will succeed. I can say you will succeed if you are focused anywhere and everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we must say really thank you to every single person at three presenters, right? The Wadi, from Bob here. Thank you so much. Thank you also for all the comments and questions. Because we really appreciate the input that we've gotten from the comments and the questions. I think it's been food for thought. We now going to break my lunch. Yes. Now we have photo lunch with her. Yes. Everybody, thank you so much.
I told you. You said, but you were supposed to remind.
That's my job.
That's not your job. It is, but it's
Years after apartheid, like they're not changing the education system after so many years. Now they're still teaching us to be workers instead of entrepreneurs. How come, sir?
I want you to think. I want you to think of this. There's a quote that says, whenever I speak to my quote, I love but there's a quote that says, why was English made compulsory in agriculture subject? Everyone must speak English. But we beg and so I we fail. In the same plan, particularly budget state funding, just form to you. No, there's what we call battery system, which is commercial. The country shall be this. And on the next, we knew what commercial purposes were. And here we glad and it's primitive, stupid, and lost. You know what I mean? Now, think about food security. Did they tell me cool? Who? Oh, my what say you know you know, every week I buy something in there. You know, I'm sure again it's a common narrative, food security. Yeah. It doesn't say who controls it, but people.
Yeah.
Speak about that. Speak about that now. Who's going to you? But you know, we say like we shot it. Julius Malema was speaking about land expropriation, but we can never have the land because the land is coming, land is bad. Yeah, who could never have the financial freedom? We'll never have. The gist was not to give us financial freedom, it was to remove the passage. So if we have that in place, economic emancipation, no, we're living from here now, we know the bread line. You know, no white messiah is going to save you. No white messiah intends to save the black person, which therefore makes me question. There's each other is applying to get the social training. Who are they? Are you directing the same ancestor of the oppressed? Wait. What color are they?
They're not white.
How are they? Caucasian?
Are they black?
Caucasian?
Are they black?
Okay, now. Where wrong place on that. I get confusion. Or anyone, or another in the room.
I'm at the like the brown.
Round, let's go white.
I didn't get this yet. Where are you? Nothing.
Masih gila Agora que for my very second about for the second presentation there when I went to the Yes, a bunch. Pull up with.
Yeah, tell me where you are.
Okay, all right, yeah, more point.
Okay.
Abandon the shade.
Not that many.
Right, yes,
Oh, shit.
Hey, quando fica com uma negócio de action class. Ah, yes. Eu não tinha bilhões depois. Não, mas você vai fumar depois. Já começa a pensar que isso é de situação.
Hi. Do you know where things are not weird? You don't know when. Yes.
Great ball. Hey, I don't know. It's fine. Oh, it's a computer, oh, that's all. Yeah, that's good. Can we put it into the main, yeah, then you redirect this group, that new one, into it's gonna be a. Is that? Yeah, no lights, yeah. No light, yeah, but we have one group from here. Is that it for me? I don't know, but I'm better than the scope, I'm sure. Right? Then there were questions and answers is like. Yes. What the angst one night.
Nahlala kumnyama kanjena nje.
Ah, no, vele.
Sengizwa nje ngamazwi ukuthi kunabantu la.
Hayi ufihla ububi mfethu. Akukho kunye.
Ngizwa nje ngamazwi ukuthi kahle kahle kunabantu la.
Awusho manje uzongamazwi nephole.
Ngoba kusemini sengibona ukuthi hayi ngeke ngisho ukuthi zase-UKZN hayi ngisho ukuthi at least ziyahlonipha.
Ungibona kumina angazi ukuthi so ngisuka la ngisuka yini angiboni.
Ngiyazi khona amazi.
Uzophathana nje. Yakani lenyama. Itshela lesitshela.
Angibazi.
Angeke ngithi umuntu.
Ya?
Angeke ngithi umuntu. Ngithakekho umuntu.
No. Sina so. Mahleka. Ngifuna ukuthini? Uboneni? Emabuza udabeka abanye abashifuna ukuhleba.
Akaluthi okusho. Usho ukuthi lo muntu ozomhleba akekho la.
Akekho la.
Akekho.
Ukhona ukuhleba. Oh.
Mhlawumbe sivele ngithi ukuyani.
Number 2, number 4.
We
Ikhona ukuthi generator ngazi ukuthi
ngenkathi ngiyobhekela bangiji ngithulele ama-GT generator ekhuma iy'ntambo lapha.
Okusho ukuthi ukhona ugesi nawo kuyakhanya.
Kuyakhanya i-11 kuphela.
11 kuphela.
La mon bheka sazobuya la buya sathini.
Zoba ngo4.
Ngisho la kubuya sathini.
Mfana bese beyabuya ke bengakabuyi. Kodwa sikathini lama?
Mhlawumbe ngawo 3. Ngizabasho something about the second video.
Enze kweyodwa.
Oh, asabuyile.
Sabuya. Uyakhanya.
What's in there?
Ngifana sibhala somqamba ayizivumela.
Even though it's in a book.
Okay,
so why ungisuela bethi nawo.
Ngizamsiza mina thoba mfethu.
Awubambe la. Ubucabanga ukuthi uzothenga ugwayi.
Ngiyacela nje. Noma wodwa nje ngiyacela.
Uzocabanga ukuthi uzothola ugwayi.
Ukhuluma ugwayi.
Bonke.
Ngicabanga ukuthi kodwa ngizolungisa kanjani. Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Ingqondo ayisebenzi ngale manje.
Ngeke nje sicawa ugesi ngimani.
Usungacabanga ukuthi ngizothola kuphi ke.
I think we move it to the avenue now.
Yeah. 12 to 1 round table. 12 to 1, 2 to 3. Socio-economic what's first 4 to 4. Why did I South African veterans? Bayabanga abantu ababulala ugesi. Abalokuzo yamane nje.
Ngizokusakhona ababanjiwe kade.
Kodwa manje kwenzakalani ngawo?
Yeah, hexagon theatre. Yeah, you can see.
So shoot as the session ibizoba la izoba se-theatre ayisekho la.
Ngicela ukuthi it doesn't look that way. It doesn't look like bazobuya. Angisho kanjalo. Ukuze ngibe politically correct. It does not look like bazobuya. After usebenza ngesizwe ngisawubheka. Yeah, Bobby. So, oh.
Iqiniso lana eMzansi lihambe nje. Hayi lihamba lisekho. Uthi yabona nje ukula mabhola kaze bekhonte esilila. Yabona abethi ANC yebo lokuthatha ukhetho. Isithathiso ukuthi abantu bayathanda i-ANC. Noma izoncipha amavoti enciphe kakhulu. Mhlawumbe sekuyoba 50%, 95, 99, 49%. Yazi mina ukuthi ngibona ukuthi i-ANC ingalithatha kakhulu kabi nje ukhetho. Yazi ukuthi izolithathiswa yini? Yeah. Ayizolithathisa ukuthi
abantu abasayithandi noma bayayithanda.
Yeah.
Kodwa ngake ngendlela esicasule ngayo i-ANC iningi lethu alibheke ezeliye evotini. Abantu abazoya evotini yilabo abasemabranchini umuntu obheka ukuthi kwasamina ngigebhela ukuba kuzoba yini chairperson nekuphindwa kukhethwa futhi. So yabona leya constituency yabantu ababona i-ANC njengendlela yokuziphilisa. Bona bazophuma all of them baye kuvotini. Yini-ke ezokwenzeka? Kushuthi
baye kuvota
bazovota bavotela yona i-ANC leyo.
Yeah.
So kushuthi i-support ye-ANC on percentage wise.
Yeah.
Mesingavoti thina i-increase ukuthi bancane nabantu abavotile bevotela i-ANC, but uzothola ukuthi imagine yakhuphuka ukuthi u-ANC mhlawumbe iwina i-KZN ngo-69%. Kungekona ukuthi abantu base-KZN 69% of them bafuna i-ANC. Ukuthi kule ncanyana eyile yayiyovota lo 69 uyidominateile lela voti. So mina ngibona ukuthi indaba ukuthi asayincengile i-ANC iyona into ezoyigcina imbawo. Ngoba uma ungabheka uthi okay fine ya uyivotela i-ANC ne uvotela imaphi ama-options asile owabona.
Yabona
ama-options onawo.
Yabona mina ngokwami
ake sizame kana
mina ngokwami ukubona abantu abaningi ngeke besabe ukuvotela i-ANC. Ngizabona
abazukuvota
kodwa bazoya ukuvota. Ukuyovota sinale nkolelo yokuthi hey uzobonakala kumele ukuthi angizange ngivote. Ngizabona uyathi azange ngivote ahamba olahla ivoto nanoma yimuphi umuntu usecabanga uyohlaphazeka kwezinye indawo.
Kanje
azohlaphazeka kwezinye indawo bosa kwenye indawo
walahla nje o-ANC o-DA nabo-EFF bazothola
kodwa inkathi izophakama.
Inkathi yavuka
izophakama
kahle nje mesikhuluma iqiniso inkathi ne-DA ngayithatha i-KZN style.
Yeah.
Uma nje bangase bayitshela ukuthi yabona la kule election sebenzela ukuthi asinciphise u50% we-ANC phela. Mina into
fruitful engagement. So our two speakers for this afternoon session is Mr. Lwazi Mbugo, who is a graduate of law from the institution of UNISA, and Mr. Wandile Mnguni. I know he doesn't like to use his proper title, the doctor, who has a degree in medicine in chemical practice from Walter Sisulu University. Can I then request our first speaker to come through? And thank you.
Unusually very short, but let's try. All right. Thank you very much, Sis Tando, for the opportunity as the program director. To our dignitaries, guests, and the international community from all over the world, comrades of the media, and to every change champion in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Lwazi, just a regular Joe from the township with ardent love for humanity. I am tasked today to just deposit a reflection of the youth as to how do we see the world as a young person. We're going to be using a methodology that is see, judge, and act. And a country that does not take care of its young people is not serious about its future. As young people today, our issues or issues that are faced by young people today, especially from Africa, South to be in particular. We are drowning in information, but we lack knowledge. Let me reiterate that. We are drowning in information, but we lack knowledge. And I blame the media people for that. Mainstream media. I blame those people. Why? Young people today are faced with many challenges. I understand, I get it. I know, in fact, I'm one of them. But media has made sure that it promotes a society that does not pride itself in good values, moral posture, and social uprightness. I think media is an instrument that was created and orchestrated to control young people. Our mainstream media today is continuing to sing a lullaby to young people. Continue to sleep, everything is well. Everything is fine. Our media does not roll out red carpets for people who do good. Then again, there's a quote that says, bad things need to be marketed, but good things sell themselves. And I blame media for it. The very media, ladies and gentlemen, that continues to broadcast nudity as a commercial slogan. The very media that does not encourage young people, Black in particular, to dream. The very media on our news that continuously publishes Thabo Bester and the likes. And I blame it. You want a tool that controls young people. You want a tool that young people listen to. It's media. I'm talking your TikTok. I'm talking your Instagram. I'm talking your TV channels. I'm talking MTV base. Young people today are so much into those things. And the question therefore remains, does it promote proper social and moral fiber? The answer is no. The professor of Africa, Robert Mugabe, says, how do you convince young people that education is the solution while prostitution and drug lords are running or ruling the light of day? Media, mainstream media, is the very media or the very tool that was used to say Africa is a jungle. That's the very same media. Media that does not contribute to social uprightness of young people. Yes, I know there is high volume of substance intake, unemployment, the list is endless. But I want us to address the wound and find the root of why are young people lost as they say we are. And I blame mainstream media for it. I blame it. Because young people lack positive role models because they are so much into media. Media that does not care about them. You don't believe me? Go to Facebook now, Twitter, anywhere, and tell me if something positive is being spoken. What you're going to find, you'll find Thabo Bester and Nandi Pamakundumana trending. What makes them trend? Takari, criminal acts, how a sergeant got shot, and so on and so on. Mainstream soapies, Uzalo. What does it promote? Gangsterism, alcohol, and the list is endless. So as young people, as we lack positive role models, media is there to make sure that young people are lost. So the fundamental issue that is facing black people, I mean, young people, apart from all that is said, apart from all that is disposed in the public domain, but media is the principal tool which has abducted young people, captured young people, and makes sure that they are sent into an early grave. A lot has been said about young people being lazy. Are we lazy? I don't think so. Young people today wake up early in the morning, go to here in Pietermaritzburg near the city hall to sit and do nothing. Are they lazy? No. They lack something to do which contributes positively to the social narrative. What is it that they see? They see drugs, flashy lifestyles. How do they get that? Through ill acts. There is no TV program that encourages proper education. Education to young people is not enticing anymore. You can't lure black people, young people rather, into a proper, fully resourced education. You cannot, because all that they are seeing and hearing, even their music, analyze the lyrics that are published onto our commercial radio stations. Claudi Mutsueneng spoke about 90% local content. Okay, but what does it do? You can ask any young person here in the room, put 2 pictures there onto the projector. Put Martin Luther and then put Chris Brown and then ask them who is it that they know. They will tell you that they know Chris Brown. Put Steve Biko, Robert Sobukwe, Amilcar Cabral, and then put Michael Jackson. Then they'll tell you who they know. Put Ila Gandhi there and put Kim Kardashian. They'll tell you who they know. Remember the initial quote: good things sell themselves, bad things market themselves. Lastly, Chairman, I don't know how much time I have. There's something that has resurfaced, which is content creator. I don't know what that is. Influencer. I don't know what that is still. And then renowned institutions like this one, they offer a course of marketing. Now, ask yourself, what is to create content? And who are you creating this content for? And what do you intend to do with that content created? Ladies and gentlemen, may I remind you that you are what you consume. You are a result of where you stay. Your environment contributes largely of who you are. And media, mainstream narrative media, is part of our lives. Now, to influence is to basically propaganda people onto changing what they thought was right or their belief system. You propaganda it to say, no, you like black, but look what white can do. Irregardless of the reasons you provide. Influencers. And for me, they are to lead people astray. Content creators. So to continue this well-oiled machine, to continue keep people young onto the matrix, say, continue to sleep. Don't ask questions about the land, about economic emancipation. No. Ask about Kanye West produced another Yeezy, the 5th edition. Don't ask about current affairs. Don't ask about the rate of unemployment. No, don't worry. DJ Tira did a song, Sigilite. So, in order for us to understand the challenges, let us first call an eye for an eye, as to say, media is failing us. Yes, I get it. There are people today who are celebrities. Then again, we need to question as to what is a celebrity? But media has failed us. Because all of these drugs that I did not know they exist, I saw it through these international superstars. I'm talking your codeine in the township is called Mniga. How many young people consume that thing? How many? Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma said, why are you publishing cigarettes on national television? Why are you putting adverts of Heineken, Amstel, Hennessy? Why? And when you drink these bottles, these expensive reserves, in the township, you're cool. I'm talking about young people, core challenges that are facing young people, the psychological pattern that goes onto them. And then how are they to contribute positively to a society that keeps on, want to lead them onto their total demise? So, we need to be sober for a moment and ask ourselves as to the cause of marketing, academics. What is its intention? Marketing. No, it's business. It's business. Nothing personal, it's business. These people will sell you a cream. They say, no, this one will make you light 5 minutes. Thank you. No, this one will make you light. Don't worry. But they know that's not true. How many of our young people are drowning in pits of no return because they've been led astray by media? That's my biggest cry. I don't want to point out the obvious, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to point the obvious that is put on our faces. That no, you see, and we've got a term, AMA 2K, 2000s, you know, the fresh generation. That is being said that they are lazy. They don't want to do anything. But my question is, are they? Because they've got so much time on their hands and they are suffering from the loss of human potential. I think we need to do something about it. On ETV, there was a program called The Black Door. I don't know if the international community knows it. There was a program called The Black Door, and it was playing at 9:30 weekdays. And then you scrutinize and interrogate the content of The Black Door. What does it aim to do? What is it promoting? And who consumes that content that is being displayed on national television? Initially, I said, a country that does not take care of its young people is not serious about its future. And I reiterate to say, media is our biggest stronghold. Media has abducted young people. When I come here, the first thing I worry about, I want to show people that no, I'm here. Not for the namesake of not for the namesake of inspiring confidence. No, for competition purposes. Look at me. I'm here now. Can you be here? Develop hashtags. But for who? For who? So I think media, mainstream media, the very media that vilified our African leaders, by the way, named Muammar Gaddafi a terrorist. Media that has a section called Unsung Heroes. And you must ask yourself a question as to why do we have unsung heroes? What does it mean? Ladies and gentlemen, let me allow Dr. Wandile to come forth. Thank you.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I observe all protocol. My name is Wandile. I'm being